Welcome, weary traveller. Prithee, hear my munificent tidings. You may now take rest. Let the tribulations of the day relinquish their grasp upon you, and bear witness at the continuation of this spectacle as a Sasquatch makes a mini for charity. For on this benighted orb, plummeting through the void, ensconced in a thin skin of writhing scum we call life. What little do we have except one another?
Just doing some random little geometric modeling. I'm not very good at it, but so I just sort of randomly do little bits here and there. But the effect is usually quite nice. Basically, I'm just using the, if we have a look here, selecting the face, we have inset face, can extrude in and out, and the bevel modifier to kind of curve some corners. Yeah, that looks nice. Let's extrude this out, bevel it. Lovely. Sort of looks like something. Don't entirely like it, but what I might do, the other thing you can do, start booling things. So let's do a little bool here, but first we're going to do a similar thing to this, so it has a bit more interesting shape that it's cutting out. And then we're going to use this to cut this part here. Yeah, maybe all the way like that. What rotation is this at? Again, if anybody knows how to just align rotation, I'm sure if I googled that now I could figure it out, but I won't. Let's bool. Oops, why didn't that bool? Oh, because I did it wrong. So this is part of hard ops, but you can do this normally. Just bool it. And what's nice about hard ops is you can then mess about a little bit, because it doesn't actually get rid of the mesh. So you can see the mesh is still here. One is a bit sort of coming out. Yeah, sure, why not? It's like, what is this piece? I don't know, but it looks sort of machined, and it's adding in a bit of that sort of mechanical effect that we wanted. I'd really like, maybe I can I extrude? Yeah, there we go. Extrude along normals. Alt-E, really nice little thing to know as well. I don't mind that being sort of out. Again, it kind of just adds a little bit more detail. This chunk being out here, I mean. I do want to get rid of this ugly bit and that. Unless I just have the whole thing come through. Don't know about that. It's possible I'll add a mechanical bit down the middle there, or I'll just keep this sort of organic looking. Not decided yet. I'll get the rest of the details in before we figure it out. Right, I've been paying off too long. Let's do this dang bag. Going to be the lid. Some might say it's quite inefficient to just squish a completely different shape into that shape, but you know, it works. So sure, I want the bag to be kind of noticeable, so it's got to be big. Nice. And then I'll just need to sculpt some banana peels and stuff. Although looking at the size of this person, a banana's, you know, fairly large. Should be fine. Kind of wonder about just bringing the bag over this bit and just having it be strapped on. Would that be so bad? I don't think so. Looks alright to me. I mean, it doesn't look alright, but you know, I think the shape will look okay. Some might say I should resculpt this, and they might be right. We'll find out. Who's going to win? Yeah, that's fine. I win. Maybe not the sphere for once. We'll use our second good pal, the torus. Sort of like a sphere. Let's do a nice strap for the bag. It's gone a bit weird, doesn't it? Yeah, there we go. That's not bad. Let's add a cute little button to the bag. Some might say that's definitely got to be a cylinder, right? No, sphere. Okay, now the contents of the bag. We have a banana peel. Also want a caltrop. I'm not 100% sure how to do that. Bunch of cones, maybe? Bunch of cubes. This shape looks really hard. I'm not going to do that. Although actually it's just two of these things smushed together, isn't it? Could maybe do that. This would just be some cylinders attached together. I kind of like this design. I think I have a rough idea of what I would do for it. But for now, banana peel. And I can probably do a banana peel from memory, right? The thing is, as I've said, you know, a Sasquatch is not like, a lot of people think we're like apes, but no, you're apes. So we're not actually that into bananas. What do you Sasquatch eat? Well, that's somewhat controversial, actually. So I am actually going to need to look up what a banana peel looks like. So anyway, what do you Sasquatch eat? You know, well, that's actually been a topic of some discussion lately. So we do eat normal food, but what we really like and, you know, what we need to sustain ourselves, the brainwaves of lesser sapients. So humans, chupacabras, fairies, that kind of thing. It's pretty harmless, though, before any humans start getting weird about it. The only real issue is the humans who like it too much. Let's scale this banana. It's a huge banana, right? How big is a banana? Is that right? Sure. Yeah, I think that's not bad. In amongst some caltrops, that'll be fine. So for the caltrops, what's the best way to do this? I can think of a couple of different ways, but I'm not sure what the ideal way is. Sure, something like this. That read as a caltrop to anyone? Me neither. I think that improves things a little bit. And the messiness kind of adds to the, you know, hastily smelted together aesthetic. At least that's what I'm telling myself. I'm hungry, but maybe what if instead of making food, I just made another type of caltrop? The smart apply first. It's another really nice thing about the hard ops is smart apply. It just applies all the modifiers at once on everything you've selected, which otherwise I don't think you can actually do, which is a bit of a thing Blender is missing otherwise. So we'll do that. And then I'll show you remesh, because we may as well remesh these together. So I'm going to remesh. Let's just click it with the current settings. Yeah, that's for an undetailed thing, that's fine. So now everything's all attached together and is in one piece. And you can just smooth out whatever lines you want. And this is the secret to getting rid of all your holes and all your resin traps in any STLs, whether you're making them yourself, whether you're kit bashing them, or you're dealing with somebody else who doesn't really know how to do that, and you've bought some models off of them or whatever. Which you shouldn't do. You should buy models off of me. Buy the charity models. Also, hit like and subscribe, and the bell. The bell! Interact with that bell. Bash it. Smoothing these off so no kiddies are going to get hurt. Good. And we'll do the same here. Not so sure. Yeah, why not? Join them together. Go into sculpt mode, remesh. You can see here now the remesh option has gone to a lower resolution than we want. So we're going to double that resolution. Let's see. Oh, did I? No, I did not double the resolution at all. I made it much lower. It's still a bit small. It's because of these sharp edges. Not really sure what's happening here, but we can smooth that. Get out of here. Flatten would probably be a bit better. Oh, no, it's not. Smooth it is. And I'm going to draw actually over this. See how that does to give it a kind of welded look. Badly is how that works. Oh, I still got a mirror symmetry modifier going on here. I didn't mean to, so who knows what that was doing. But that's fine. One thing we will want to do though is probably decimate them. Yeah, because we can now got 24,000 triangles in this tiny little thing. We do not need that. So let's get it down to 0.1. Fine. Let's decimate it again because I want it to be a little bit jaggy. How big is this thing going to be? It's maybe a little thin. Oops, let's do that. This one's 77,000 because we had to turn the resolution up so much. That is the issue, is you do probably need a decent enough computer if you're doing this kind of thing, because it will do some calculating. Oh, there we go. Got it down from 70,000 to 700 polygons, and we could still probably bring it down even further from there. 300 polygons and 481 polygons. That's fine. Do you want this to be thicker though? Just a bit annoying to figure this out at this point. Oh well, just inflate. Because these are going to be quite small, you know, they're just little things you scatter on the floor to hurt people's feet, or in this case, hurt the wheels of a unicorn chair. I don't really want to do it to this, but I will. The nice thing about the polys actually is if your computer is good enough, with resin printing, you don't need to worry about them because you're not like rendering or anything. You're just, eventually it's all just going to become a series of 2D images anyway. So in video games, when you're making models for that, or when you're making them for animation, the amount of polygons really do matter, whereas they just don't here. It'd be fun if there's one like spilling out. So you could have a model with millions and millions of polygons, or 1 billion polygons, and it wouldn't really matter once you'd got it sliced and ready to print. It wouldn't matter at all. Yeah, we got our nice bag full of caltrops. What's that one doing there? With banana peel. Very nice. And this will be the first bit that I'm going to start the detailing of. So that basically just means, as well as adding some stuff on, which I might not do right now, but also just adding some asymmetry to make sure all the details are fitting. So here I can move this up and down, and that way make some of the details a bit more visible. Same with the lid. This comes in, yeah, to expose that nice spike, which will create a nice little contrast with the painting, because this will be metallic. That's something I might do actually that I don't usually do, but I 100% should, is as a final bit, figure out before we print, figure out what the color scheme is going to be and make sure all the pieces are in the right place. Whatever happens, we'll be doing a video on color schemes because that's really worth it. I'm not the master at that kind of thing, but I've learned a decent amount of just sort of basic stuff you can do to get a really nice color scheme going on, and how to avoid having a bad color scheme. Because sometimes you have a scheme that you're like, in the design phase, this seemed fine. Why is this not working? And there's some things you can do to test that. We'll draw on this to just emphasize a little bit the bits that are visible, and on here, and on here. Because a lot of these things that seem very obvious when, like the details that seem very obvious and stand out when you're just looking at them here, are not so obvious when the model is 5 centimeters tall. This, for example, may be a very, very small distance. This distance between this surface and this surface. So just going over the details with the draw tool on the edges is really nice, as well as doing a crease tool, or an inverse draw actually, as I showed off in, I think, episode 2. So yeah, if we just go around everything with the inverse draw tool, that can be a nice way of popping out these details as well. This is overlapping the license plate, which is going to make that a little bit more annoying to emboss, but well, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger just to emphasize it, because otherwise we're just going to have a sort of some scrap metal textures against these metal textures. It'd be nice to have the banana, the bright yellow banana as well. And I'll try to make the bag brightly colored as well. Not 100% sure on color schemes. Their name is Riley Redcrest. That is confirmed in a printed out lore card, so I can't change that. So I think red has to be part of it, but we need to get away from that awful man, Mesmer. And he's very red. He's red and he's mad. And is there going to be an actual red crest somewhere? That's also the issue. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not adding to the overall dimensions, at least, bounds, box size particularly. Okay, now we can start working on this. Some of the details here as well. Being lazy, making a chair out of a chair. I think it'd be cool to look up a race car seat or one of those like giant extravagant gamer chairs, but quite a lot of this is not actually going to be seen because O'Reilly's going to be on it. And when I prepare the model to be made into pieces, I'll just be cutting, I'll be balling like we saw this, but with the whole Riley model to cut into the chair so that they just fit in. I am going to need to make sure that the feet have room to come in here. It's probably a future jack problem, although it shouldn't be too difficult right now and give us a little bit more room. And do that here as well. Would like to have an engine somewhere, but I 100% don't have room for an engine, so forget about it. You're going to have to be very close together to fit in there, but that's probably something to worry about once I've rigged up Riley. Put him in there. And finished Riley as well. Still have a couple of things to finish. Let's just have a quick look at a gamer chair or a racing chair. I love this radical cross pillow, but I think that'll be a bit too much to add on. But I will try and do that funny shape that they have. Yeah, who's a good boy? You're a good boy. Who's a cute sleepy boy? It's you. Good boy. I was talking to my dog there, but if you're a cute sleepy boy as well, or a good boy, you can take that for yourself. Do you wonder about having that hole in it that gamer chairs seem to love to have, but it's not necessary. Maybe later if we need it. I do like to have a little bit of detail on the chair, just in case you're buying one of the unbuilt kits. Then you get to see that I do actually sculpt a lot of this stuff, even if it's not visible. Yeah, I think that's pretty decent for something that's not really going to be seen. Give it some definition with the flatten tool. Top of the chair usually is seen, so I'll define that a little bit more. And then this underbelly. Maybe slim it out, because we don't necessarily want this to be very heavy or anything like that. Our tail, we don't have a tail at all. Maybe the tail will need to be the lance then. Because I think if this chair is a wyvern pretending to be a dragon, I think wyverns a lot of the time have stings in their tails, so that can be even more kind of cheaty thing. The lance is a tail with a stinger. It just detaches like a gecko or whichever lizard it is that detaches this shell. You know the one. Tail detaching one. Let's move these out of the way a little bit more so the feet have a bit of a chance to breathe. It's important to let your feet breathe. I hope these will read as horns. I think so. Looking much better now. Looking pretty cool altogether. Need to fix this head. Need to sort out what I'm going to do with the wheels. I think I have a plan. Yeah, let's do that then. At least the tyres I think I have an idea for. Oh, don't be like that. When things are mirrored, it likes to do that. Where it will align to the middle of the mirror rather than onto just one of them. One lesson I've also learned is to not let this come too much further than that. Otherwise, this will start getting into details too and catching on. So these can be... I was just about to do what I said don't do. Okay, this goes in. This can go in, but the other one doesn't. The other one, if anything, comes out. A little bit. Not that much, though. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that should be okay. And then for these, I want to... actually, I don't want to flatten... do I? What have I been doing up till now? Can anyone tell me? I don't remember. I don't think I really flatten along the wheels like this because it'll interrupt the way they roll. I do on here, though, I think. Sure. This would be, a little better done with the modeling kind of tools rather than sculpting tools, but I like the way it gives everything a sort of hand-finished look. Slightly messy, but it reminds me of those kind of old school models where everything was sculpted by hand after you'd blown one of your hands off with a cannon like the Green Knight. True story, look it up. As far as I know. I wasn't there. I was in Montana stalking some candles. They know what they did. Okay, so a bit of an issue here is what I wanted to do was, do a nice little kind of almost scale pattern going down the wheels, which I still like, but I'll need to do it all the way around the wheels because I can't really mirror this because they're all going in one direction, and I'm not smart enough to figure out how I would do that otherwise. So what I'll do is, I might just do it this way. Let's just be legends and do it. It wouldn't be the first time I've had to reprint a whole new set of wheels, or even the 5th or probably 6th time. So let's just see how it goes. I think probably the issue is I'm going to need to do more than just this to make the effect come out at this scale. Because what I found is, although this sharp crease looks very obvious in modeling mode, it doesn't actually look that obvious when the model is teeny tiny. This I should be able to do, I would hope. Can I? No. Because they're going the wrong way, buddy. You just said. But Z might work there. So it'll at least be on the other side too. But I also don't want to affect the round surface of the wheel very much, because it's quite important that wheels are round. Well, they're not too round, as I found out. One of the reasons I'm doing this is if you don't give them any texture, they have a lot less grip, obviously. So a little bit of texture is quite nice on these wheels. That's okay. It's a little ski whiff, isn't it, there? Like, this is way further off than that. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to have to try my best to be competent here. That's not something I like to do. Yeah, let's do it like that. Bring myself a bit of a guide. Still going uneven, I can tell. But it'll be better. It'll be better this way. Did I start doing them the wrong way around? It really looks like it, doesn't it? Let's reveal and see what I've done. Oh, no. But is it that bad? Not really. It's scales, isn't it? They're not like... It's organic. So if I just put some stuff in, shouldn't really... Oh, it doesn't. You can't see anyway. Yeah, so we'll just make this organic, and I'll either hate it or it'll be fine. I think what's actually going to happen is you're not going to be able to see a whole lot of these little scales at this detail level, but it will provide a nice little bit of texture. So we'll see. Again, missing my friend Din Topo. Could probably turn him on, but we've come this far. Yeah, I think that's not too bad. Certainly looks better than it did. What I am going to do is draw. Like I said, just draw some ridges along these to pop out that detail and also to give them a little bit of grip. My dog is leaving me because there's no sign of him getting fed in here. Buddy, I haven't even fed myself. And nobody is putting any food for either of us in the chat, buddy. Poor Bean. He's the most neglected dog in the world. Leave a like if you want the dog to be fed. I quite like that. I reckon it might actually be a bit too detailed, so I could do with maybe halving the number of these big scales, but we'll see. Depends how big the whole model turns out in the end. Oh, the dog has given up on food and has decided to lay down and wait for death. It's a good 3 hours until it's dinner time, but he never bothers to read the clock. He never bothers to look at the time. Could do a flame pattern going around here, or could do the coins. Got the gemstone here for some treasure. Just trying to think about what we do for the little wheel in that case. I think a little spike would be cool, because again, cheating. Nothing that is going to hurt a child, but we could maybe have a little spike surrounded by coins on this and then flame on that. That doesn't look aligned at all. It was the tyre who was wrong all along. Oh, it could be a claw. That would make sense. Should also check face orientation. Yeah, everything's good so far. No invisible noses. It's worth checking every now and then when you find out the entire torso is inside out and everything's ruined. Although you can, and there's a few ways of doing it, reverse the scale, or you can flip normals in edit mode, which will sometimes fix it. Not always. There we go, pretty clawish. Just flatten that down a little bit so nobody gets hurt. How big should these be? I want people to be able to see them. Ideally, everything that you sculpt, people can see. That's the kind of tip that you don't get on most sculpting channels. Cowards. Yeah, we'll just indent a bit there, and we'll put a secret little thing in here. There's no way you're going to be able to really see it. It's also going to be a hilarious amount of polys for a tiny thing at first. So what are we going to put in here? Angry little face. Or actually, let's give whales their due again, so that they don't destroy us. We'll just do a little Welsh dragon here. He's got little ears. He's got a nice little wing. One of his hands is coming up to wave at you, or possibly to destroy the English. And he has a nice curly whirly tail. Yeah, nobody's going to be able to see that at all. But we know, don't we, viewer? Post a comment in the chat if you know. Sure. Now I'm going to decimate the heck out of that, because that's 60,000 polygons for a cylinder. And it looks better decimated, to be honest. Cool. And then we'll do our little radial array trick, thanks to hard ops. Can do this without hard ops, but I really dislike it. There we go. That's kind of nice. I sort of want to put them on that as well. But I think the flame will probably be fine. Okay, let's finish off these wheels, and then I'm going to take a break, because I've been recording for like 3 hours now. This is going to be a nightmare. I'm so sorry, future me. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, for this, I'm going to try and keep the scales really nice and big. Probably the size that I should have done them on the other wheel, to be honest. We'll use the flattened line there as a bit of a template here, instead of having to bring in a cylinder this time. Also, I just realized that I haven't done it the same way at all. I didn't use the sharp crease, so let's get rid of all of that. Sharp crease. Sharp crease creates these very fine, sharp, you might say, lines, rather than bringing in a lot of the surrounding topology with it. But like I say, it's a bit harder to notice once you've printed it out. Unless the model's huge, in which case, yeah, it's very easy to notice. But this isn't actually very deep. Nice. That should be fine. Do some extra scales in here. I actually kind of liked where it just went in there. That looked cool, but not going to do it. Nice. I do like the way that looks. Didn't mean to have it on this side, oh well. Now let's draw around here. I'm really hoping these wheels work, because I do actually kind of like them now. If they don't, we'll be able to fix them. It will just mean extra day of printing or something like that. I think that's going to be way too detailed, personally. Yeah, rather than wait to find that out, that's absolutely the case. This is another thing, actually, when you're modeling, and that it's way easier to fix these mistakes in a sculpting program than in real life. So just figure it out. Just do it early. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size and reduce the number of them, but still going to do that radial array. And when in doubt, make them as big as possible. So I'm just going to make them even bigger. Don't want to mess that up too much, the shape of the wheel. So I'll just, instead of doing what I was just doing, I'm just going to draw an inverse draw so that those are exposed. Cool. Should be kind of nice. I think they need to come back a little bit to make them stand out, or possibly this needs to come out a little bit. Maybe a little busy. I would like the tires to be a little bigger, but then the wheel gets a bit too big. That's probably fine though. The bigger the wheels are, the kind of easier it is for them to roll around anyway. But now I need to move that back in. Oh no, but I'm coming into my old problem of not wanting to change the outer wheel. That doesn't seem to change it very much. The closer in I come, the less it should change the outside, hopefully. Cool. And now, one final bit, and then I promise myself I am going to get to eat some food. And then I'm going to run 5 miles with this dog, and then he will get to eat some food. It's going to be great. And then I will have to really resist. I mean, I may come back and do the face, and that'll just be a different video. This video might have to be split up. We'll see. I usually edit things down pretty drastically by cutting out all the time, so I'm just sort of staring at my screen blankly, thinking what to do next. Or going, although there'll be a lot of that. They're holding the ums and ahs hostage, and they want me to pay a lot of money. So dear viewer, give me lots of money, otherwise I'm not going to be able to get rid of the ums and ahs. Although all the money that you give me at the moment will be going to charity anyway, so it's going to be a while. We're going to be dealing with those ums and ahs for a while. I could learn how to talk properly, but that's not likely. So how is this attempt at a flame pattern going? Not bad, to be honest. It's all right. I wonder if I could constrain my sculpting to one axis, because that would be useful. Comment in the chat if you can fix my problems again. How do I sort this out? Sort of what I want. I want it to be the other way around, which is going to cause some issues, but I should be able to fix it. First, let's clean all this up, get it where we want, before we start doing some unwise things. Although I'm hopeful by now I've got the hang of all of Blender's weirdness, to the point where I can kind of anticipate how to fix some of these things. Because what I'm going to need to do is flip it around and then mirror it so that it's got the same face on both sides. You'll see. Now, does this look like a flame plat? Maybe. I gotta say, I liked it more before, but I think it'll probably be fine. It's sort of an issue with not really having a direction that's going in. If I'm wanting to paint this, this is going to need to be thicker so you can have a little bit of a transition from red to yellow. That's what you're going to do. I also got some nice fluorescent orange paint, so I might use that instead. And that actually reminds me that we were going to have the dragon breathe fire, aren't we? Okay, so see if this will work. Want to separate it, and we're going to flip it around. Sadly, that's kind of got rid of the orientation a bit. I love the orientation. And actually, I wonder if the mirroring is even going to work because of the weirdness I was just doing. Yeah, I think so, actually. To bisect. Yeah, nice. Need to neaten this up a little bit, but that's mostly sort of right. Not 100% sold on the pattern, but it's not bad. Cool. Now my only problem is I do want the dragon to be breathing fire, and I was supposed to be eating food and such. That's too low. With the fire just kind of billowing out and above the wheels here. Because, yeah, actually it's going to need to be out of the way of the wheels, obviously. And it can be kind of coming onto the pipes and stuff for support, because it's quite long and thin. Got to get away from the wheels there. And just so we're getting everything together. The, whatever you call the front spoiler. This pleases me for some reason. Like a hammerhead shark dragon. Unless it's on the bottom, which it would be on the car, but I don't hate it. Gives you a bit more space for the fire as well. Yeah, maybe we'll keep it like that for now. And if we don't like it, we can get rid of it. It would kind of be fun to have the teeth be like the grill of the car, but I think it's cooler just to have teeth, and they can kind of go into like a smile almost, like curving. Yeah, look at that, what a cutie. That's looking pretty good now. Oh yeah. Oh, and it only took 3 hours. Right, so next time we will be sorting out the head, finishing off Riley's armor, rigging Riley, which will be fun. Might go really well, might go really badly, and doing a detail pass on everything. But for now, that's all looking pretty cool. Oh yeah. Right, well, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, hit that bell. See ya.
Albeit from me to presume upon thy generosity, merciful viewer, but consider thee the wares of the Sasquatch, toiling to manifest the finest miniatures all in exchange for naught but a benefaction to dear children in direst want of an ambulatory wheeled chair. Seek now the link to be found beneath this video or on this Sasquatch's very page. Click now yon sigils and undertake the supplicatory rituals of likening and subscribation, and as ever, forget ye not the tolling of the bell, or rebuff the request of this noble beast, and be thou damned. But then again, are we not damned, one and all?